Hello, I'm Alicia. I am the mom behind Secular Nerdy. I am a secular homeschooling mom of two. I have a third grader and a kindergartner. And today I'm going to be sharing my review of the Pandia Press History Odyssey Ancient History Level 1. Pandia Press offers both science and history curriculum. They are a secular curriculum company and homeschooling curriculum company, and they offer ancient history, Middle Ages, early modern, and modern times, and they offer that in three different levels. The first level is for first grade to fifth grade. First grade to sixth grade. Sorry. The second is fifth grade to ninth grade, and the third is ninth to 12th. And currently, the only two that are offered on the third level is Ancient History and Middle Ages. That may change. I personally do not know, so we shall see. I bought this curriculum maybe a year and a half ago, and it was kind of slow for us to get through, and it's no fault of the curriculum. It was just we had things going on in our life that caused us to go a little bit slower than what maybe others would. It is written to actually be done at least twice a week. There's been times where we've done it several days out of the week, like the entire week, or there's times we did do it only twice or maybe once a week. Especially like when we got into Egypt, we did that every single day just because my daughter was totally enamored with ancient Egypt at that time. Basically, what you get, you can get hardbound or you can get it as an ebook. I actually got it as an ebook. What you get is basically a lesson plan. And don't mind my cat's tail in the background. He decided to come somewhere and say hello. But it came in as a lesson. It's more like a lesson plan. It uses several different materials that pull together, and it tells you like what your lesson's going to be, and what book to read out of, what pages to read out of, and what activities can help. When I first got it, I wasn't sure it was going to work for us because it has so many things written down that I sort of panicked. I was overthinking things, and it just felt like so much. Once I got to about lesson 4 or 5, I realized I was just overthinking things, and we really fell in love with it. It uses 3 separate spines. The first one is the Osborne Internet Linked Encyclopedia of World History. I actually have 2 copies of this. You only need 1. I have 2 just because personally I found it easier for my daughter to read out of one, and then I follow along on the other. Just so I can sit across the table from her instead of having to be right there, especially since I'm homeschooling 2 kids. So making things easier so I can help both really makes life a lot easier. It also uses 2 books that are story based. Hey, get down. Get down. Get down. My cat decided to try to come visit. But it uses 2 books that are more story-based, and neither of them are secular. They are not secular at all. These 2 they have their own curriculums surrounding it. However, if you're a secular homeschooler, you probably do not want to use them only. Pandia Press, the History Odyssey, it doesn't touch on the chapters that have religion in them, because like some of them have like the story of the birth of Jesus and such, and so it doesn't touch on that. Now, in the later chapters of this, there is a lesson towards the back. It actually does touch on the spread of Christianity, but it doesn't have. It just gives a basic overview on it. It does not say anything like it's spread because it's the true religion or anything like that. It's just a very basic, here's what it is and here's why it's spread. In ancient history, it is important to note that Christianity was spread at that time because it did kind of, it shaped the world. So yeah, it uses story of the world, um, and it uses a child's history of the world. Now, in the curriculum, it suggests you can get one or the other. You don't have to get both. I just ultimately chose to get both. Um, I like to have books, and I thought, why not? But if you are, say, you don't have that big of a homeschool budget at that time, one or the other's fine. I feel like the A Child's History of the World is easier for the younger crowd. I feel like it's easier for them to relate to the stories in this one rather than this one. I mean, they're both decent. Um, it does get to be a bit much. There is a lot of reading involved in this, especially for the parent. Well, I mean, if you have an older child who's reading well, they can read this on their own. Starting out, my daughter wasn't a strong reader. I mean, she is now. So now I can hand it to her and, hey, read this, this chapter. But it really is like a chapter you need to read. And personally, we are planning on doing the Pandia Press Middle Ages soon. And personally, I'm going to go ahead and get the audio disc for Story of the World. Just because I do have another child, I am homeschooling. And there's just so much reading that has to happen with homeschooling anyways. I feel like, having that disc I could pop in occasionally will free up some of my time. So that's just something to think about. It also suggests you get the history pockets, the ancient civilizations. We enjoyed them. If you have an older child, they may not like it, just because it is kind of like busy work for a younger kid. It has little stories, little easy stories about each thing, about each lesson or time period in history. It'll have like a map, and then it has activities, and actually it's you make your little pockets, out of some construction paper, and you put all your little things in it. And each one has a words to know. And you glue the things on there, and your child can write and define it. And my daughter really enjoyed them, and a couple of them had postcards that you could do, and she actually loved that. She, I think it was ancient Greece. She wrote, about what she had learned, and she colored it and actually sent it to my dad. So she really liked that. It also has you get ancient Israelites and their neighbors, and ancient Egyptians and their neighbors. And both of these are really fun. I really like these. It has, the lesson in the beginning, which you can read if you choose to. There's a few times it does, the lesson plan does reference to that, to one of those. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And then it has different activities you can do for different, time periods. Like, we made a Phoenician mask. This copy is a little funky. In our old house, our classroom, the roof sprung a leak, and this was one of the books, unfortunately, that got wet. But yeah, it has different activities, and for my kids, it was fun. Doing things that are hands-on really helps cement the information in their brain. They think about the time that they made a mask, but why was that mask important? And, because they made it, they can remember, like, I made this mask that represents such and such to this certain culture in this time period. It also recommends you get these two coloring books. It's Life in Ancient Rome and Life in Ancient Egypt. Personally, for me, I don't really feel like these are really that important. Just because there's only a couple pages it recommends the color. And for my kids, they actually prefer to draw their own pictures, and I feel like having them draw their own pictures, they have to think back of what they just learned, and draw that versus just opening the book opening the book, seeing the pictures, and coloring it in. I mean, they do have some paragraphs at the bottom. If your kid loves coloring books, or you just want to go ahead and get the whole complete thing, that's cool too. Just personally for me, I didn't really feel like they were that important. Um, each lesson does at the end or at the bottom, it does have a book list, books they recommend for you to pick and choose to read if you want. Um, I didn't buy any of those. I have an educator card through my library because we are homeschoolers, which is, oh, I love it. Um, I have no fines. Well, typically we don't have fines if we use my educator card. I'm able to keep books as long as I need them. And so I'm not buying all these books for the we're only going to use for like one or two lessons. I just get from the library. I've known some people who have gotten, the spines, excuse me, from their library. I didn't do that just because I just, since I'm going to be using it for, the entire year, I just felt like it was worth the investment to go ahead and buy. I know some families that's not an option. Um, so that's something to think about. I did get all my books from Amazon. I actually got a couple of the books used. I just looked at reviews and, made the decision on whether or not it was someone trustworthy or not to buy from. We really liked this curriculum. We felt like it hit on all the major learning styles. Auditory from being read to, visual from reading yourself, drawing your own pictures, hands-on, drawing your own pictures, drawing the activities. Um, and there's even, it just, I felt like because of all the things that went into it, it really helped my daughter retain the information. There was some map work. The maps actually come with the curriculum. And, for younger kids, map work isn't quite as important. You can show, like, this is the area we're learning about. Like, say, this is Egypt. This is the Nile River. The Nile River is important because, and then for older kids, you can go more in depth with the map work. And then it has, different words that perhaps your child should define and write down because, it relates to this lesson in some way. And we really liked it. We liked it so much that we're planning on using the next one. Um, if your child's more of a classical learner, this may not work as well with them. They may want to stick with something, just, doing the reading and the worksheets and such. I mean, there are Facebook pages out there who take Story of the World and they're able to, write out ways to help you make it secular because they do offer, like, workbooks for it. But for me, we really enjoyed this. I plan on using it with my youngest child. We are using the science level 1 as well. As soon as we finish that up, I plan on making a review for that too. So, if you have any questions or comments, whatever, you can leave them in the comments section down below. Or you can go ahead and send me a message. And I'll try to get back with you as soon as I can. I am a homeschooler, so that may not be right away. So, I hope that this, review and overview, helps in some ways. Pandia Press does offer a try before you buy. It does have the first few lessons on there for free. So you can always grab these books from the library and then try those first few lessons and see if it works for your family. Just that way you're not spending out all that money and it not work out. So, yeah, if you have any questions, just leave them down below and I'll check it with you. Thanks. Bye.